start. Thank you for joining. For those that have already, we're just going to give it another minute or so just to let a few extra people back in. I can see they're trying to get into the room now. Just for those that have joined, we're just giving it a few extra seconds or so just to let a few more people come back into the room. Brilliant. Okay, so I can see a few people are coming now, which is great. A few people are still trying to come in, but I want to kind of kick off because we've got a lot of things to talk about today. Some really interesting kind of details on Google and LinkedIn. And yeah, today we're here to talk about Google and LinkedIn ads. We've done webinars in the past, and I think the team around the member experiences team are really keen to talk about the kind of Google ads and LinkedIn and how we can use those to grow memberships and how I've done that sort of already in the past. So yeah, we're keen to get this one going. We also have a bit of a short bonus topic at the end on how to take that paid advertising strategy that you might have to the next level if you're already kind of in Google ads or LinkedIn ads at the moment. So really briefly, just about us, just to set the scene a little bit, we're Copper Bay Digital, the member growth agency. We have been supporting organizations like yours since kind of 2008, helping with that member and customer acquisition using paid ads plus other channels. And our mission at the heart of what we do is to help, the aim is to help 10 million members realize a benefit of their membership. We want to put the success of your members at the heart of everything we do. I think that's the key, where we're focusing on that. Today on the call, we're talking today is going to be Jay, Mary, and Joe. They've got a lot of experience. They're working our member experiences team. They've got a lot of experience in how to grow membership and how to use paid channels to increase that member growth. Quick admin piece, in the top right hand corner, you'll see a little question mark. Asking questions is how you'll get the most value from webinars like this. So really recommend asking those questions. As I say, top right hand corner, there's the question mark icon you can click to ask those questions. You can also upvote other people's questions if you have them as you're going through. And all questions will be answered at the end. We're going to have a section at the end. I'm going to kind of go through those and pick for those. So feel free to just ask questions as you go, and then we'll kind of look at those at the end of the presentation. So please ask as many questions as you feel you need to. So a quick poll I wanted to kind of activate is just to see what are you using at the moment? Are you currently running Google or LinkedIn ads? So hopefully that's popped up in your chat so you can start voting on those. Because they're just coming in now. Couple of Google, couple of none. Not many LinkedIn at the moment. Yeah, primarily in that Google space, which is good to know. No one's using LinkedIn on this call, which is interesting. And then some aren't using any at all. So brilliant. Thank you very much for that. So good to set the scene. There's a lot of things based on those results. I think there'll be a lot of value from the topics we're talking about today. As mentioned, Mary's on the call today. Mary is one of our account managers in the member experiences team, been running paid ads for accounts for many years now. So Mary's going to talk through what is paid advertising and just give you a bit more clarity and kind of set the scene a little bit on that. So I'll hand over to you, Mary.
Okay, thanks, Chris. So what is paid advertising? So to give you kind of a general overview, is basically paying to show your ads to a specific group of people online. So it will be your targeted online audience. So this is different to organic social media or SEO, where you're kind of hoping your content gets seen. Paid ads guarantees placement. So you're buying a spot in front of the right audience. So the key features of this is you're targeting. And that, I would say, that's the most powerful part. So you can get incredibly specific targeting by things like job title, industry, company size, or the exact phrases that they're typing into Google. And it also allows you to have control. So you get to decide what your ad looks like, what it says, where it sends people, and exactly how much you're willing to spend each day or month. So obviously, there's loads and loads of examples of the different kind of online platforms that offer paid advertising. So, for example, you've got LinkedIn, Google, Meta, Reddit, Snapchat, X, TikTok. There's loads, but obviously today we'll be concentrating on how to use Google and LinkedIn specifically for member acquisition, as these are the most powerful platforms, I would say, for kind of a business perspective. So how does it work for getting new members? So you get to target the right people with precision. So it kind of stops the target everyone and hope for the best approach to marketing. It's more specific. So you can focus your budget and your message exclusively on the professionals who are a perfect fit for your organization. And then you can show off your best content. So you can run campaigns that are really laser focused on your most valuable benefits. So if you have a popular certification, you can create ads just about that and show them to the people who would be really interested in it. And then you can get a steady flow of new members. So many organizations rely on big annual conferences for member growth, which obviously is really good for driving really fast growth in a short space of time, but it often creates peaks and troughs. So with paid advertising, you can create a more consistent year-round pipeline of prospective members, and that can help offset the big differences between your peaks and your troughs and drive more steady growth. And then the final point is that you can use data to improve your strategy. So paid ads provide clear, immediate data, and unlike more organic alternatives, it gives you more data faster. So you can quickly see which messages get the most clicks and which ones benefit people, which benefits people are most interested in. And this really allows you to stop guessing and start making really purposeful marketing decisions based on the feedback you are getting from your active audiences. So Google or LinkedIn, which one is best for you? So the biggest difference in how the platforms kind of interact is what the user's mindset is on those platforms. So Google is more about active intent. So people go to Google with a specific need or a question that they want an answer to right now. They are actively looking for a solution. Think of it as capturing existing demand. They are looking for you. It might not be specifically your company, but it will be things that you are offering. And then LinkedIn is more about professional identity. So people who are on LinkedIn are often there in a work context, but they are usually browsing, networking, or learning, as it is a social media platform at the end of the day. So you're not actively using the platform to buy something. Instead, you would be targeting them based on their professional profile. So this would be more of a creating demand. You are looking for them, so you would have your audience and you would seek them out rather than them seeking you out. So yeah, as I said, so it's best for targeting by your keywords with Google and your online behavior. So as I said, it's about reaching those people who are really searching for you. So whether they're searching to join a new membership organization, it's already in their mind that they're kind of going to. It's about weighing up which one they would. And then for LinkedIn, you're targeting their industries, your job titles. So it's really, really good for audience targeting. And it would also be better than, say, Meta or things like that, because LinkedIn, you have more of that data about who they are in a professional kind of capacity. So, and then, yeah, their mindset. So they've got a problem in Google and they need the solution. So that's what I mean about having that kind of desire to go for something. They're actively looking for you or for someone that offers kind of your membership. Whereas in LinkedIn, they want to learn, they want to network, and they want to see what's new in my career. So they're not open to more ideas, but you kind of have to put that idea in their head. So choosing where to start. So next slide, please, Chris.
Yeah.
So you don't obviously need to use both platforms from day one, especially if you've got a limited budget, because obviously you want to make sure your targeting is really solid on one platform first in most cases before branching out to another. Because if you do both in kind of not full potential, you won't get the results you want. You really need to have a really forward focus on both. So what you would do is you would start with Google if you know people are already out there searching for what you offer. So if your services or certifications are things that people are actively looking for example, a chartered accountant accreditation, Google would be the best place to capture that existing interest. And on the other hand, you would start with LinkedIn if your ideal member has a very specific niche role. So if you need to reach heads of compliance at UK financial firms, they probably aren't searching for you. So LinkedIn allows you to find and get your message in front of them directly.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mary. So next we have Jay, who leads our member experiences team. He's going to talk a bit more specifics around Google and how to get the most out of the Google channel.
Thank you, Chris. So I wanted to actually talk about what we see in the real world compared to what Google tells us. If you've ever spoken to a Google rep, you'll know they're very, very keen to push Performance Max amongst the budget increases and the auto-apply recommendations. And on paper, it sounds brilliant. One campaign that covers all of Google's platforms driven by AI. In membership marketing, the reality is very different. Performance Max tend to throw a lot of your budget at placements with low impact. So things like generate YouTube views or display impressions. And it looks busy, but it doesn't actually generate members. We've audited campaigns in the past where we see a large share of the budget that's being wasted on clicks or form fills that never actually convert into paying members. The real danger is that it looks like it's working, but in fact, your funnel's just filling up with the wrong people. So if Performance Max isn't driving real member growth, what actually works instead? We go on to the next slide, please. So when we take back control with more structured campaigns, things like focus search and retargeting, the difference is night and day. A quick clarification, Performance Max does include a form of retargeting, but if you don't really control it and you can't see where your money's going, so dedicated campaigns give you transparency, control, and also a better return on investment. Clear segmentation across campaigns is essential. Different audiences with different messages and different goals. If you go on to the next slide again. And here's my biggest tip. Don't just rely on Google's reporting. Upload offline conversions, connect your CRM, and use customer match lists. When you show Google who your actual paying members are, not just who clicks, the system will really start to work in your favor. The takeaway here is don't blindly follow Google's playbook. Structure wins. Don't leave it all down to automation. Take control of your campaigns and your data. Now, moving on to every marketer's favorite topic, tracking. This is where a lot of long-term success and growth really lies, but it's also where a lot of campaigns fall down. Too many organizations celebrate on the wrong numbers, like downloads or generic form fills or click-through rates, and they all look great on a dashboard, but they don't necessarily translate into new paying members. In membership marketing, this is where a lot of campaigns can go wrong again. You might be getting hundreds of leads, but if those leads don't actually join, all you're doing is actually paying for noise. Instead, the focus has to shift from volume to value. Ask yourself which of these channels produce members who renew, and also which touch points are linked to long-term value. And don't just track it, feed it back into Google, upload offline conversions, sync your CRM, and push membership data back into the system. That's how you train Google to optimize for actual members, not just your vanity clicks. And the key takeaway here is track what drives growth, not just what looks good. If you go on to the next slide. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was the attribution trap. A common issue that we see in teams is reporting on weekly and Google Ads performance, making decisions a little bit too quickly. But conversions don't happen all on the same day someone clicks on your ad. Many happen days later. So when you look at your weekly data, you're often seeing an incomplete picture, and that's why campaigns can appear to dip midweek and seem like they stop performing, when in reality conversions actually haven't been reported yet. So if you are going to do weekly reporting, there is a quick fix that can help with this, that I usually use. So in Google Ads, switch your reporting view to conversions by time. So conversions, they attribute the conversion to the day the click happened. So if someone clicked on your ad on Monday, but they converted on the Friday, what you'll find is that conversion will be logged on the Monday. Now, conversions by time it will log it on the day that conversion happened. So if someone clicked on a Monday, converted on the Friday, it will show the conversion to happen on the Friday. And that causes the issue between week-on-week conversions, because some conversions can fall into the second week. So this small tweak can give you a truer picture on performance, and it helps avoid cutting campaigns before they've had time to mature.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jay. Next, we got Joe, who is one of our digital strategists in the member experiences team. And Joe's going to talk about LinkedIn and also around kind of how to create a combined strategy for Google and LinkedIn.
Thanks, Chris. And just looking at the results of the poll, I've got a lot of work to do, as nobody seems to be running LinkedIn ads. So it's a bit of a thing. So really passionate about this. I think Jay and Mary have summed up well what paid advertising is. And I think a big thing we've talked about in previous webinars is something we really own at Copper Bay. What sets us apart from other agencies is this thing called IMP, Ideal Member Profile. So LinkedIn performance strategy gives you strategic levers that actually move the needle for memberships beyond the boost button. Precision beats reach all the time. So we tend to map out ideal member profile using layered data, which I'll show you on the next screen. Things like firmographics, job seniority, skills, interests, even website behavior and previous member data. We can feed that back into the LinkedIn platform to give us a real good picture for that precision and target specific details. A lot of accounts we take over are quite naive in this. They tend to scattergun approach to target lots of people and hope the best. They get high click-through rates, high website traffic. We don't see that needle moving in membership growth. Copper Bay is all about that, and so that's why we dig further. And the campaigns convert much better when we segment by journey stage, which I'll talk about in a few more slides, where the member sits in that journey and how we map campaigns to that. We do have a really good follow-up process as well. As Jay mentioned, forms and conversions come in, but your follow-up turns them into members. So it's all very well getting a conversion, but how do we then turn those into ideal members? And we put automated workflows into systems after LinkedIn engage with us. A lead will come in, and then how do we nurture them to become members by selling all the benefits, the upsells, inviting them to events, everything like that as well. I think, which I'll talk about them as well, matching your messaging to the mindset as well. By understanding your ideal member profile, this helps craft messaging in terms of awareness versus action. So first, how do you become aware that of your membership organization, and then how do you take action in terms of becoming a member as well. Jay and myself will talk a lot about this as well, is customer match and CRM data to unlock LinkedIn's real power. All these platforms rely on data signaling to get really precise, and precision is key to this. So what we tend to do to accounts is feed in previous customer data or member data, which allows the algorithm then to understand who ideal member profile is based on existing members, and then that helps with the power of LinkedIn's targeting as well. I think there's a big issue in terms of membership growth, particularly when I attended the MemberWise event. I was speaking to lots of people where they were saying that, you know, we've got established members who are, you know, 50, 60 plus in age. How do we target that new wave of members for the younger demographic? And certainly by employing this kind of methodology, that helps with that as well. Very well talking about that, but if as marketers, you have to be quite creative. So we a lot of what we do is test visuals. One of the case studies I'll speak about later, we actually tested 14 different creatives across 2 3 different audience segments, use the data to inform us what was working well, and then optimized and run those ads to the best performing ones as well. Next slide, please, Chris. So an example of LinkedIn targeting. So I've just done a bit of a graphic here. What we could target on, particularly as Mary mentioned, if you've got a real niche offering, there is a range of targeting. These are just a few top level ones. There's actually more here. What we do at Copper Bay, we layer. So we use each of these targeting options: demographics, job details, company interests, engagement, and also retargeting previous website traffic to actually target your specific members. So for example, here, people aged 25 to 54 in the United States with a bachelor's degree who speak English, and that just gives you a sample audience size. Obviously, if we were to work with you guys, we'd actually go right back to the drawing board, look at every single demographic of your ideal member profile, who you wish to target, location, what kind of education, seniority, what kind of revenue they have. And we'd map this into a fully fledged campaign with really high creative as well. So it's really exciting stuff to do. I really love taking on a new organization and actually working with you as membership departments or growth personnel to actually map this out. A lot of you have already done this already, but how then do you translate that into a LinkedIn ad? Creative that converts. Again, as mentioned just now, it's all very well doing all that. We really need creative conversion. We've got a really good creative team in-house which can help with this. We tend to focus on authentic visuals, outperform stock imagery. If you look at our Copper Bay website, there's a lot of it is real life work of people in situation rather than a stock image from iStock where showing a digital marketer is not very, that's very lazy in performance. So we work with you on that. We tend to lead with value, not features. Speak to aspirations. So, what is the value that your membership provides? One of our large customers, membership customers, actually has so many value propositions across so many different messages that, like I said, we had 14 different slides talking about the value that they offer. And I think a big part of their membership problem wasn't necessarily the membership itself, but it was communicating what value that membership give. So we actually went back to drawing board and split all that out as well. Again, we mix up using video and carousel formats. Mary is one of our social specialists. She's really at the forefront of what works in terms of social advertising. She's always coming to me and telling me, Joe, we should be doing this, or we should be doing that, and it's really refreshing. So we use that with our customers as well. We keep right on top of what's working at the moment. Video and carousel is working really well. Keep copy concise. Sometimes you've seen ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini spurt out this huge adverts and almost detracts from what you're trying to say. So we really try to manually write these with help of yourselves then to get these really concise, punchy images with really good copy that helps convert as well. Again, including proof points like testimonials and stats. We practice what we preach. I've actually got a bit of a case study coming up now. So it's all very well us talking about what's working, but we're actually showing this in a real life. And it's the same with you guys. How are your members benefiting from everything? How are your members with key stats and testimonials? We work with you on bringing those out and showcasing that as well. And again, as part of working with Copper Bay, we refresh creative monthly to avoid fatigue. We say monthly, sometimes it can be quarterly, depends on the frequency or the click-through rate. So we monitor key stats very carefully to understand how the creatives perform in the marketplace. And sometimes if we're getting 30 leads a month and they're really good quality, we don't tend to change our creative then for the sake of sakes. But we do keep up with the fatigueness and the frequency by looking at the data and making sure that works well as well. Thanks, Chris. And of course, performance insights and optimization. As a data-driven membership agency, our iteration turns that data into scalable growth systems. So we use our data, and we've actually got a really cool tool called Member Metrics that helps us analyze data to grow membership organizations as well. But for LinkedIn's point of view, we track our leads and conversions directly into CRM for real ROI and visibility. A key example of that is, we have 40 leads, but only one of them actually qualified as a lead in the CRM. The 40 leads looks good on paper to us, as Jay mentioned earlier, vanity metrics. But what we do is we push that all the way through. So we work with membership organizations, we integrate with their CRM, we understand their data, we understand what it means for membership growth, and then we use that data then to inform us. So we say, for example, 24 leads have come through. Of those, 13 have been qualified into opportunities. 2 of them become customer. 1 of them has closed, lost. So that's the kind of data we measure, and that's how ROI and visibility is very good for reporting to boards and your senior peers, that kind of information, rather than we had 30 leads in March. That doesn't mean anything in terms of membership growth. And a big problem for membership organization when looking to grow is that vanity metric. Well, we've had all these leads, but our membership base isn't growing. That's where this becomes so important as well. Again, as I mentioned, we refresh creative every 4 to 6 weeks based on the data. Analyze click-through rate, CPL, and lead quality, not vanity metrics. You know, the funnel system of how many people are getting to my advert or website, how much is it costing for them to become a lead, and then of those leads, which ones of those are marketing qualified, sales qualified, further down the pipeline in the CRM. That way, you can tell exactly how we measure membership growth as well, and it helps us with our ads as well. Use the LinkedIn Insight tag. A couple of organizations that have come to us have been running LinkedIn ads with other agencies. They haven't even configured the LinkedIn Insight tag data. So they're really shooting blind in terms of what they're trying to do. But that really helps them with their audience understanding and expansion. We use audiences, and Jay will give us a bit of a bonus tip on how that's used, particularly with LinkedIn for other forms of advertising later. And we can use that audience to expand more on the ads then as well. A/B testing, we wouldn't be marketers if we didn't test our visuals. We don't think everything works, and we're a brilliant agency creatively. We do test our visual formats and copy to refine performance, and we use that data then to inform the creative team what's working, and we roll out best practice from other membership organizations to yourselves as well. And we translate that insights into strategy. My part of my role is understanding data. One of the membership organizations we worked with, we did a huge strategy piece for them first off to understand their data, and that data then informs what kind of strategy you would use in order to optimize and not restart. And I think a lot of people are guilty from emotion rather than data in terms of strategy. We use that data to inform the strategy and create a really value piece for our clients there as well. Thanks, Chris. So the combined channel strategy, and I'm a big believer of this. As I've run a number of Google and LinkedIn ads accounts. So you know, we're probably asking the question now in the poll: what should I be doing, Google or LinkedIn? But really, a perfect member funnel should be using both with LinkedIn and Google. So what I'd advise any membership organization to do is look at aligning platform strengths to each funnel stage, using the ideal member profile system. So if you look at that funnel on the right there, you're all probably familiar with what funnels are. You've got a lot of people in at the top, then the middle, how you persuade them. Then the bottom is the high intent stuff, and then the very bottom then is closing into customers. So what each of these platforms does: LinkedIn drives awareness and thought leadership, usually at the top of the funnel, but you can actually have funnels within platform. And then Google captures the ready to act members at the bottom with the high intent searches at the bottom there. So if I give you an example, a member might not be aware of your organization. They see a thought leadership piece on LinkedIn, then they'll read that piece, they'll think about it, then they'll Google search you, and then they'll inquire to become a member. So that's moving down the funnel then. IMP, interest, motivation, proof, both platforms support at different stages. I think a really healthy way of running your ad platform is to use LinkedIn for thought leadership content, your events, your webinars, your seminars, etc. And then making sure that Google Ads there is then mopping up all the keywords that you would search for, branded and non-branded as well. I hope most of you guys are using the CRM and behavior, so we can use that CRM data to map out your message mindset as well. And we can use the remarketing then at the middle of the funnel as well. So if people have been on your website previously, if they've downloaded a white paper, if they've been to an event, we can actually remarket to those people both on Google and on LinkedIn as well. So almost the top is LinkedIn, the middle is Google and LinkedIn, and the bottom is Google as well. We segment by funnel stage. You'll hear this word a lot. Ideal member profile, segmented by funnel stage, segmented by job title, segmented by keywords. We really, really dig into that grain of who your target is, where they are in the funnel, and which platform we should be using in order to engage with them as well. So when LinkedIn warms up, Google converts. You get smarter and cheaper growth, which I'll talk about in a minute in the case study. Thanks, Chris. Case study. So practice what we preach, as I said. This isn't me just saying this in theory. We do actually do this for membership organizations. And I think membership organizations came to us about a year or 18 months ago now, and they had a really underperforming funnel. What was wrong was the disconnected platforms, weak targeting, no visibility on what worked, and they were actually optimizing and tracking for the wrong thing, which I'll talk about in a minute. So they had ads running on Google and LinkedIn, which was good, really positive there. That's a good start, but there was no unified strategy. Messaging was too broad. It wasn't tailored to job titles or funnel stage. So whilst they understood their audience, they didn't understand where to tailor that messaging and at what funnel stage they should be using that messaging as well. They were using Google Ads drive clicks, but no intent tracking or offline conversion was in place. So we were actually telling Google every time somebody got to the membership inquiry page that was a conversion. So Google was thinking, wow, we're getting loads of these conversions, but then it wasn't translating into member growth because obviously I think they installed Hotjar to understand where the drop-off was, but really the problem was that they were optimizing for the page view rather than the form fill. So that was a real big problem with that client, which we fixed straight away. LinkedIn building awareness, but no way to guide or convert leads. So they're running LinkedIn ads. I don't think the LinkedIn Insight was set up properly. They were driving it to the website again, and the conversion, I think there was 3 stages to convert once they got there. So we broke that down to one stage, one page view, and also did lead gen forms as well. So they could convert there and then on platform. So that increased conversion rate and quality as well. One landing page for all campaigns, no follow-up or no segmentation. So a big part of what we do at Copper Bay as well, we split out, and Jay is really an expert in this in terms of building tailored specific campaign landing pages using software that we've got, because some of the messaging and some of the ads and some of the keywords would go into pages that were highly irrelevant to the members and they were falling off. So as the title of this, is it a costly thing? It can be costly if we don't do everything right. And that's where at Copper Bay, we don't leave any stone unturned in there. A quote from a client: we were spending on both platforms, we couldn't see what was actually working. And that's a big problem if you're running ads as well. So moving on to the solution, we applied the IMP funnel and match messaging to mindset across both platforms. We use LinkedIn for top of funnel thought leadership and awareness. Use Google for the bottom of funnel high intent conversion capture. We applied the IMP framework to map the right messaging to the right stage. This was within month 1. We used then the awareness, no way to guide to convert leads, built an audience segments using CRM and customer match lists. And we made sure that the tailored campaign specific landing pages with strong CTAs. If you look on the right here, these are the stats in the first month. They're actually nearly treble this now. The client is a really good membership organization. High quality leads in the first month, 27. And of those leads, what we do is we map out how much those leads are potential on the first year value of a membership. So we don't do lifetime values. It could be worth more than that. So those 27 leads equated to roughly 100,000 opportunity value in their CRM, which was really, really impressive. And again, those are the kind of metrics that we measure. We don't measure vanity metrics. We measure how do memberships grow and how does that revenue grow. And that's really key to what Copper Bay does. Thanks for that.
Sorry, I just realised I was on mute. Sorry about that. Thank you for that, Joe. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have a bit of a bonus topic as well, an area that gets overlooked, we believe, in the organisations we speak to. So Jay's just going to kind of cover that now.
Thanks, Chris. So one, like Chris mentioned, it gets overlooked quite a lot. People think it's a small aspect of online marketing, and it's actually growing a lot more now. So it's one to definitely keep on your radar. The audience is smaller on Microsoft Ads, but the costs are lower and the competition is a lot lighter as well. So it can often deliver better return on investment, and especially if your professional audiences are using Bing at work. So one of the things that people don't actually realize, and I've had many conversations with clients in the past where they don't realize that Microsoft actually own LinkedIn, so they've got a big stake in that. So we're actually got the ability to use the LinkedIn audiences inside of Microsoft Ads for our own targeting. So we can use that based on job roles, industries, and the behavior as well. You can also go down as far as targeting companies, but obviously it's really, really niche in that area. So it's powerful targeting without the heavy setup, which is really great. And one final tip that I really wanted to focus on this area: the free ad spend vouchers are very, very generous. They can range anywhere between £250 to £2,500. So it's a great way to get your foot in the door without actually having to foot the entire bill in the initial stages. Now, it is important, and I would say this is that I wouldn't start here. This is something that you should start with once you've got every other area working. So make sure that your Google campaigns are working and the tracking is solid, and your LinkedIn campaigns are working and the tracking is solid in those areas. One of the other benefits here is in Microsoft Ads, this is a completely untapped audience that you're not going to get on Google, because the people who are using Bing, they're not going to be using Google. So I think that's another thing that we should really focus on.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So yeah, that's the end of the presentation. Thank you everybody for all the different talks there. So I just want to go through the kind of questions that are in the question tab. Please feel free to add them as I go. I'm just going to go through. I'll probably go through ones that got the highest votes first. So first one is from James. He's asking, what are the must-have tracking steps, UTMs and CRM fields to measure lead quality across both platforms? I don't know who wanted to pick that up. Jay, you wanted to pick that up? Or?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to jump onto that one. So from a Google Ads point of view, you have auto tagging already. You should already have auto tagging enabled inside of Google Ads. Now, that isn't a foolproof method, so it's also important to make sure that if you're using secondhand analytics software, then you have your own UTM parameters set up at like an account level or at a campaign level. So make sure that whenever someone is clicking through onto one of your campaigns, that you have the campaign in the URL parameters there. And also you can go down as far as selecting the keyword that someone has selected too, so that information will get passed back into analytics.
Brilliant.
Do you want me to just say that quickly for LinkedIn as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, quickly on that as well. We actually worked with the case study that I had there. So every time we did those 14 adverts, we did a creative UTM builder. So if you search for UTM builder on Google, you can actually build your campaign. So campaign, autumn 25, the source medium, LinkedIn, pay-per-click, and then we can actually map the creative as well. So if you've got any problems or struggling with that, by all means, Copybait can help. But we do make sure that those UTMs are set for LinkedIn purely because we need to make sure that creative is set. It's not as straightforward as Jay said with the auto tagging on Google. So we do build those parameters into the ad when we add as well.
Brilliant. Thank you. Next question's from Stuart. He's asking around how Google Ads are changing with AI in search results. Are they becoming? Is Google Ads becoming less effective because of AI in search results, and are fewer people clicking on those search results? I will kind of preface this question a little bit with, we do have another webinar coming at the end of actually October, talking about the impact of AI on paid ads. So we're really going to be deep diving into that. But I don't know if anyone wanted to kind of cover off that, what their thoughts are on what we're seeing on impact of AI on search results at the moment.
I think I'll jump in on this one. So instead of, I think what we've seen quite a lot at the moment is the effect that it's having on organic rankings and organic click-through rates. I think that's one of the biggest things. So you might find that over the last 12 months, if you do look at your organic traffic, that your organic traffic might be falling a little bit more. That's mainly because a lot of the questions that people are searching into Google now, they're coming up as an answer in the AI mode. You'll see that it comes up quite a lot at the top of the page. So actually, you actually find that a lot less people will go through and click through to the site. So it's ever more important to ensure that you're looking at generative engine optimization as well, and that sort of thing. So that is the biggest effect that I'm seeing across sort of website traffic. Regarding Google Ads, they are eventually, well, hopefully as well, they haven't done this yet, but they are going to be showing ads on Gemini. And this is similar with Microsoft ads as well. So they should start showing ads on ChatGPT and Copilot as well.
Yeah, I guess to add to that as well, just from my perspective, I think we are seeing that it's not like we're seeing across the board all our ads campaigns dropping off the cliff in that sense. It's like we're still seeing ad campaigns grow, we're still seeing performance grow, ROI increasing, obviously. So I think, yes, it's definitely something where that is changing the way, and people are searching differently today than they were even 6 months ago, sort of thing. But it's not like there's any kind of direct impact. I believe we're not. It's something something we're going to go into next week on the next webinar is around maybe changing your strategy slightly to rank for the right things. But yeah, we don't think it's like the end of paid ads as a channel for in the coming months. Obviously Google earn 80-90% of their revenue from paid ads, so I'm sure they're doing everything they can to make sure that paid ads stay relevant in the future. But it's something we're always watching, and that's why Jay's right in the sense of looking at the AI, AEO, GEO type mentality as well. Brilliant, thank you. Dennis has got around great insights from you all. I'm interested in what's the best way to measure the value of a lead. Our membership sign-up process takes weeks or months. So
yeah, I'm happy to jump in on this one as well.
Yeah.
So this is a common issue that when we speak to other membership organizations, it can often take 6, 12, 18 months for that initial contact or that initial form fill to a full paying member. Now the difficulty is with Google is you've got 90 days to import any value into the account. Otherwise, the original click, you can't assign that value back through to that person. So what we do is, instead of what you ideally want to do, is you want to be importing value at each of the stages. So take a step back. So if it only takes a week for you to qualify that member, then upload the value of that qualified member as well, because at least then you can tell, right, okay, this month or last month we got 100 conversions that came in, but actually only 50 of those have actually been qualified. Google needs to know whether those users or whether those conversions have been qualified too. So we would upload the qualified members, and as they get taken through this process, that's when you can start to upload that value again. So that's what we would typically do. But it's a common issue that and this is across every industry, especially if you're uploading value into the account.
Brilliant, thank you very much. The next question on there is from Arlene, around what should my budget split be between LinkedIn for awareness and Google for intent, and how do I adjust it over time? So we're talking budgets here, I guess, budget allocation.
Do you want me to go on?
Yeah.
I think budget allocation between awareness and Google, it all depends on your type of membership as well. So for example, if you're an individual membership, I think a lot of the spend should be towards Google, whereas if you're a corporate membership, it should be LinkedIn. And I think what I mentioned earlier is that at Copper Bay, we tend to do a strategy piece before we run the ads, and we analyze the data to see, previous traffic, the ideal member profile, and we use that to inform the Google and LinkedIn budget. Really, speaking, if you were on a low budget, I would tend to start with Google because that's the faster results, because people are in the market for you. But again, the brand awareness, LinkedIn thought leadership piece is a plus there. And I think part of what we do is we map out a 12-month budget with those budget splits and recommendations. We also have things in then like YouTube advertising, video, remarketing, things like that as well. So it's a difficult one to answer unless I know the organization, but I hope that answers top level. Yeah.
And I guess on Jay, sorry.
I was going to say, I think it's really, really important as well is if you are limited with budget, but you want to run a lot of things in, say, for example, on Google Ads, if you want to run a lot of campaigns and you want to focus on a lot of people, but you've got a limited budget, I would hold back on targeting lots and lots of different people or loads of keywords for the small budget that you've got, especially if you're going to try and break down your campaign. So say, for example, if you've only got £1,000 to spend on Google Ads and you want to target all of these different areas, have one campaign to focus on initially and then branch out over time, because you're at risk is if you want to split that down into 3 or 4 different campaigns and they've all got limited budgets, Google needs the information in order for it to work. And it might take 6 months for that information or that data to be passed on to Google for them to go, right, okay, actually we know who to target now. So we have to be really, really careful about not to finally spreading our budget across the campaigns.
Brilliant. Thank you both. Next question is from Jennifer around what's the biggest missed opportunity you're seeing with paid ads marketing, especially in the membership space? So any big opportunities that we're missing, or something that kind of comes up on a regular basis, I guess?
The one that pops up a lot is the offline conversion uploads and the customer match list. I think we'll go over it again. It's a massive part. Like we mentioned before, Google doesn't know who your members are, and if they don't know who your members are, they don't know really who to target either. So if we can upload that value and the list of the people who are already members, they've got an idea of who they should be targeting. So that's only going to aid the performance of your campaigns. So that's the biggest one from my point of view, anyway.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you. And last question is from Stuart. How would you recommend getting started with LinkedIn when we have such a fragmented audience in dozens of different industries? Start with a couple and grow from there, or go all in straight away?
I'll get that one. Obviously, LinkedIn way covered. So yeah, Stuart, that's a really good question. And I think most of our clients work in that way. We've got a lot of different industries fragmented across. I guess it all depends on budget. However, what we do copy is we tend to focus with a couple, show value in terms of data, and then end up doing the rest. Then I think we've done that with one client where they've got multiple services across multiple different stakeholders with different salespeople, different stakeholders, and we've used that to really shape that split out. And we split out multiple budgets across different sectors. But to answer your question, I'd start off with a couple, grow from there, rather than going all in straight away. If you've got a big budget and you've got real high growth targets, we could do that strategically, but really I'd recommend proving value, getting that data, showcasing to you guys first and foremost, getting that, that buy-in that what we're doing is the right thing, and then land and expand is what I would say.
Brilliant. Thank you, Joe. It's interesting. I think that almost the last 3 questions, maybe 4, actually the big part of the answer has been around data, been around letting the data show the way. So start off small, grow from there. You rely on the data to inform the strategy, I guess. So yeah, feels like a lot of the answers have been kind of around that point. So thank you. That's the last of the questions. So thank you all for taking part in that. As I mentioned earlier, we do have our next webinar end of this month on the 23rd. Josephine's going to be running that, and we're talking about how AI will change the way that ads are managed in 2026. So this looks at both kind of sides of the coin. So what this means for your PPC strategy. So how are you going to manage your ads? What tool sets do you use? How do you make sure your ads are effective? But also then down to looking at it from your members' perspective, what's their experience like, and yeah, what will be the impact on the search engines and how they're going to discover you via ads. So that's a really interesting topic, obviously already mentioned today, and it's something that obviously is really keen for us to focus on. So we'll be sending out links to how to sign up for that webinar after this. We will do. And finally, just to say, kind of, if you're looking to build that member recruitment strategy, so we do have a tool to benchmark your recruitment score. We do. Again, we'll be sharing these links. If you wanted to have a chat, there's a way of kind of booking a quick call with myself and one of the team to just talk about your current strategy in paid ads or just general member growth. And then Joe mentioned earlier about member metrics. We do have a member metrics tool, which is very specific around tracking engagement and then getting AI, sort of actionable AI insights into your member engagement. So we'll be sharing those links as part of the follow-up from this. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, everyone, for kind of presenting on today. And yeah, great to see you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks all. Cheers.
Thank you.